Hi guys, and welcome to a brand new series on the channel. I realise that I kind of start every new series with that exact sentence, because it's true. It's true. So, if you're excited about the new series, drop a like on the video. That really does help out with the whole YouTube algorithm nonsense. If we could get to 1,000, that would be absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, that would be awesome. And as always with the start of new series, I like to learn about people that are new to the channel, perhaps since the start of the last series. So if you want to drop in the comments the name of the club that you support, we always like to see that sort of stuff, so go and do that as well. So, a lot of you will probably be wondering what on earth this is, and I'm here to explain it for you. I mean, a lot of you will probably already have a fairly decent understanding of what this is, but yeah, not everyone has that information. So, what is Sunshine-on-Leyth, and who are Whitport Athletic? Two very important questions, and the answers to which will all be coming up, do not worry, but I thought I would just quickly explain about what the save actually is. So for as long as I can remember, and playing FM, I've always wanted to do a proper creator club save. Now, that seems easy enough in theory, because you create a club in the database and you go and play with them. But I always wanted a bit more than that. I wanted to have a reason beyond just create a club and go for it. And we kind of have done that in the past with B67. Although they are a real side, we still have to add them to the database and go through all the trials and tribulations of being able to do that kind of thing. But about 6 months ago, I thought of a sort of an idea that would take this sort of thing a step further to what I actually wanted to do to give me a reason to do a save like that. And that's where Blackhaven United come into things. They are the second creator club in this save. And to boil things down completely, this save essentially is going to be us racing an AI-controlled club who are also created by me, but obviously not managed by me, all the way up the English leagues. But there is of course more to it than that with the lore, which you'll obviously find out a little bit in a minute with the history segment, as always. Now I actually had bigger plans for the whole history segment side of things with this, but unfortunately as a result of the situation that we're currently in right now, I wasn't able to go and do stuff on site like I had planned. Because of the way things are at the moment, I can't be driving halfway across the country to find locations to shoot stuff, unfortunately, so we're going to have to make do with what we've done. So, who are Whitport Athletic? Who are Blackhaven United? They are two clubs, the only two major clubs, on an island. That island is just off the coast, the southeast coast of England, called Leyth. Now, it's obviously not a real island. That much goes without saying, of course. But it is based around the area that the Wash occupies, which is just off the southeast coast of England. That kind of area, but moved out, obviously, as if there was an island that broke away. You know, you've got to use your imagination for this a little bit. And they do have a whole history, and you're going to find out more about that in a sec in the history segment, of course. But essentially, the save is a case of the haves and the have-nots. We are very much the have-nots. I wanted to make sure that if we were going to do this, it would be a challenge, which is why our facilities and just about everything about this club are not way worse. They are well below average for the division we're playing in, and Blackhaven United are well above for the division they're playing in, because AI clubs need babysitting quite a lot, unfortunately. More about that in a bit. In fact, if you're interested in the database setup and the way we've actually come up with this, then I'm making a separate video, which is going to be linked in the description, an unlisted one, where I'm just going to talk about the database stuff, the problems we've had, and there's been a lot, and more about that, because I'm sure most of you just want to kind of get on with the story, which is why we're not going to dabble too much into that. But if you do want to play along, there is actually a link in the description to the database, as well as a graphics pack which has the logos for the clubs and the kits, as well as an installation guide on how to put everything into the game. Now, the database itself is built off the back of one of Steve the FM editor's databases. For me, the best database creator in the FM community. So I've also put a link to his Twitter and his Patreon in the description of this video too, because I really do feel like people that make interesting stuff like that should be supported. So if you are looking for a normal lower league database that goes all the way down to the 10th tier, then do absolutely check out Steve's databases. They are brilliant. I don't think I've ever been as nervous about starting a new save as I has with this one, because there's so many things sort of that could go wrong, I suppose, but also it's just exciting to be doing something a little bit different. And on that note, I just wanted to quickly shout out Kveku and Bart Simeo and also James over on the Discord, who've helped me test this extensively over the past 2 weeks. I don't think I'm ever going to be completely happy with it, because I'm a perfectionist like that, but I think we've got it in a state where it's going to make a really fun save for us. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to the Leyth Tourist Board for a nice sponsored message from them. This video is brought to you by the Leyth Tourist Board, in association with Visit Leyth. Although records are patchy, there is evidence of small English settlements on the island dating back as far as the 7th century. Despite enjoying a large amount of autonomy, it formed part of the Kingdom of East Anglia until England was unified by Athelstan in 927. After England was invaded by the Normans, the island remained somewhat independent for almost 30 years, until it was signed over in the Treaty of Blackhaven in 1096. During World War II, the island was occupied by Axis forces. Residents of Leyth would hang anchors upside down outside their doors as a symbol of resistance. The main industry on the island has always been fishing. However, in recent years, many tech and software development companies have begun opening offices there. This is due to favourable tax laws as a part of Leyth's semi-autonomous status as a crown dependency. The island has a population of 151,000 over 240 square miles. not to mention the large bustling towns of Blackhaven and Whitport. Football has been documented on the island as far back as the 19th century, but the first football club, Whitport Athletic, weren't formed until 1919, after the end of the First World War. Whitport mostly played in friendlies and other small lower league competitions until after the Second World War. They spent their sole season in the Football League in the 1959-60 season, before being relegated in 1960 due to finishing bottom as well as mounting financial difficulties, being replaced by Accrington Stanley. The successes they have enjoyed since their brief foray into the Football League have all been in the FA Cup. In 1974, while playing in the 6th tier, they progressed all the way to the FA Cup quarter-finals without ever playing a team from either of England's top 2 divisions. That didn't stop them from getting the scalps of Stockport and Rotherham of the 4th division and Crystal Palace of the 3rd division, before being knocked out by Spurs. In 1997, they pulled off one of, if not the greatest FA Cup shocks of all time, knocking out top-flight Nottingham Forest 2-1 with Michael Miggins-Kelly scoring the winner. They were joined by a second club on the island in 1991, as Blackhaven United were formed to provide a club for the island's largest city. They initially played in the old recreation ground, once used by Blackhaven Sports Club, before moving into the 15,000-seater Leyth Investments Authority Group Stadium in 2015. Most of the funding for the stadium came from elusive tech mogul James Perkins of Agenza, who purchased Blackhaven United in 2014. Blackhaven currently find themselves newly promoted to the 8th tier, but with a bankroll and ambitions far beyond their current stature. They are managed by former Notts County, Palace, Wolves and Chelsea winger Thomas Stepanek, with former Crystal Palace defensive midfielder Tony Harris acting as assistant. Despite the teams only ever playing in friendly matches, a fierce rivalry has developed which is set to blow supernova this season as the teams face each other in competitive matches for the very first time. So, there we go. You now know a lot more about the island and the history of the two football clubs themselves, and I hope you're ready to get stuck into things, because I sure as hell am. That first game against Blackhaven, whenever it comes along, and I haven't actually looked at it yet, so we don't know, is going to be mental, because let's face it, we're probably going to get smashed. The manager you guys chose was Marvin Suarez, the Colombian goalkeeper from the last save, but do not worry, Remy Dubois, who was in second place, is in the database as the assistant manager. We've also got Carl Rogers Jr. from a previous save in as a fitness coach, and a few other little ones sprinkled here and there. And the same goes for Blackhaven United, who are being managed by the big enemy himself, Thomas Stepanek, with Tony Harris as his assistant. There are some other Easter egg players from other saves at Blackhaven United as well as potentially some other players who might just be in and around the database and could pop up at some point. Who knows? But I won't tell you who. So most of the work and the testing has actually gone into Blackhaven United, the AI-controlled club, because as I'm sure a lot of you know, AI-controlled teams behave very, very strangely, even when they have money. In fact, especially when they have money. So I'm just dropping the character for a second, in the sense that we do want Blackhaven United to do well, because obviously we want to be competing with them up against the league. However, from this moment on, after this video, I will be rooting against them with every fibre of my being, because that's the story we're telling. And I should also mention that I'm not using my standard database setup for this save because I want it to run fast in the early days. So we've just got England turned on for now. And then once we, hopefully, move up the leagues a little bit, I will turn off some of the lower leagues and turn on some other countries, some of the major leagues. That way we get a bit more transfer activity. So that will be kind of fun as well. And it keeps things moving nice and quickly. Now, I guess now would be a good time to actually get stuck in and have a little look at the club themselves. So let's go and do that. We're predicted to come, what was it, 14th? Which is actually surprisingly high. We're expected to get mid-table, essentially. We've got poor virtually everything. We're semi-professional. No huge surprises there. Now, of course, because it's a generated side, we've got an entire team of regens, basically. But we're going to have to build a squad because you do not get much from that when you start a save. And the target this year is essentially, I mean, the board say mid-table. I want to stay up. Hopefully we don't get sacked. That would be a really bad start if we get sacked in the first season for not winning the league or something. Because let's face it, Blackhaven are probably going to walk it. Now, I've actually not seen the squad at all. So this should be very interesting. Oh, okay, cool. Brilliant. So that is a very, very small looking squad. As you can see, a lot of them are from Whitport, which is obviously what you want. A couple of Irish lads in there, a Welsh lad, and a guy from Wexford. So essentially, we've got a load of local lads. Some of them probably have contracts. Some of them, I'm guessing, do not. So that's going to be difficult, particularly as we've got basically zero wage budget available. And as you can see, the abilities and potential ranges are all over the place because this is what happens when the game generates players. So we've got some players, you might look at that and go, yeah, they're really good. No, they're probably not. This is Ben Elderkin. Let's see. He's a defensive midfielder. He's not bad. I mean, to be fair, for the 8th tier, he's not bad, is he really? But, bearing in mind, 5-star right now is still considered leading player for the division below us. That's kind of the level we're playing at, which means that I think with the transfers, we should be able to find enough sort of decent enough players for this level, because we do have a reasonable reputation for this level, so it should be okay. As for how we're going to pay them, I don't know. Maybe they'll accept Mars bars. We've also got Andre Calder, who I'm just going to get rid of this so we can actually see what positions they play in. Okay, interesting. So he's a pretty good right-sided winger, but he can also play through the middle as an advanced playmaker. Now, one of the things I wanted to do with this save as well is avoid my normal tactical roles, because most of the time, and for the whole of FM20 rather, I've basically played a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-2-1-2. And I want to try and get away from that. I want to kind of go proper like 4-4-2 style, maybe with some DMs in there, I don't know. Maybe just, I want to play with 2 strikers, I want to play with slightly more withdrawal wingers, trying to come up with something a little bit different, you know? We've also got Martin Smith, who is a sort of, well, I mean, is he a right back though? Jesus Christ, he's very tall. He's very tall. Well, he's 6'2", and that's all we can be thankful for right now. Not on any wages per week. I expect we're losing a lot of these players. He's released to sign a new contract. Good for that. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Honestly, for us, just getting a squad together for the start of the season is going to be the main challenge. How we do after that is all going to be down to whether we can get a tactic that works and kind of go from there. But that's life in the semi-professional leagues, isn't it? Now, obviously, we've got some youngsters, and particularly this guy, Thomas van Oberon, who is a centre-back with 9 tackling. It's not bad. He's only 5'10", so you know what I'm like with those. But, hey, he's got decent potential so far. Now, how far that could be, we really just don't know. What are we expecting here? Retrans as a defensive midfielder. We know very little about him, really. But, hey, he's got decent potential, we think. And there's a few more youngsters that could definitely do a job for us. Well, we're going to have to make use of some of these players. Don't worry, though. We do have some more. If we turn on the filters for the under-23s and under-18 squad, we do at least have some other options. Most of them, again, not of high quality, but some of them do have good potential, although it's really hard to know what that means at this level. This could literally mean anything at this point because we are so bad for the level we're currently playing at. So it's going to be an interesting time. But you can see, for the most part, they are local lads. Well, yeah, there's a few players from sort of all over the shop. In fact, we've got a Swede here, in fact, an Australian, a Slovakian, which is a surprisingly eclectic bunch, so that's kind of cool. We're going to have to rely on a lot of players on frees and loans and probably even on non-contract bases because we cannot afford to be paying anybody. I think we have, what, £6 a week? £9 a week. Hey, that's not too bad. £9 a week in wage budget. I mean, that's like, basically we've got pocket money. We've got pocket money. As far as squad depth goes, oh dear. Oh dear. Well, we're definitely going to have to sign someone on the left side because you're not playing a 4-4-2 without anyone on the left side, are we now? But hey, centre-backs look like there might be something there, which is potentially decent for us. Goalkeepers, nice options. Up front, definitely going to need to sign there, and in the midfield, probably a similar story. But such is the life when you choose that you're going to play a system before you actually look at the squad. But I should point out, if we just looked at the squad, we end up playing a 4-2-3-1 again, because it seems that every squad just seems to build in with 4-2-3-1 players at the moment. So the plan for the transfer window is quite literally to fill the gaps. There's probably going to be quite a lot of players coming in, because we have a very small squad as well. Thankfully, we've got a decent number of players younger, and we'll obviously give them chances in the preseason friendlies to try and see who's actually got a bit about them, because at this point, it's really hard to tell. Meanwhile, we'll of course be increasing our staff, because we only have the bare minimum of staff. So there's still room for some more scouts, still room for some physios and people like that, and maybe a coach or two, although they're going to have to settle for no money. And I think the big question that's really on everybody's lips is, when are we playing Blackhaven first? And I'm curious about that too. Oh, that's a while away yet. We start off, in fact, away at Loughborough. So there's that, but it's there. The 9th of the 28th month of the year. The 28th of September, we play against Blackhaven United. That, and away from home as well, is going to be a very, very difficult match for us. I mean, let's make no mistakes about it. They are going to be an incredibly difficult team to play against. Now, obviously, they're not going to go mental at this level, but they've got excellent players already. The game will have generated them some pretty solid players, so expect them to be the team to beat in this league this year. And there is only one promotion spot, so if we are going to go up, which I still think is very unlikely, we're probably going to be having to do it through the playoffs unless we can pull off an absolute miracle against our cross-town rivals, against our cross-island rivals. And not to mention that, we also play Blackhaven on my goddamn birthday on the 7th of March, right towards the end of the season, so that could be very, very important for both teams. It'd be cool if we drew them in a cup at some point, but bear in mind, these teams have never played against each other in a competitive match, so it's going to get very, very feisty. That's the hope anyway. So, I hope you're all as excited about embarking on this story as I am. We basically have carte blanche to make this whatever we want in terms of story and characters, which is why I'm so excited about doing it, because you know I love that kind of stuff. So of course, tomorrow's episode, transfers. All sorts of jazz, and believe me, there's going to be a shitload to talk about, and then we'll come back for a Loughborough game away from home, see if we can get our first victory. Points matter. If we can stay up, I'll be happy. That is where I'm drawing the line, and for once, that might actually be the thing that we're actually fighting against. I know I always say that if we stay up, I'll be happy, and then we'll go and win the league. That is not going to happen at this level. I really, really do not think so. But that's part of the challenge, isn't it? So, if you've enjoyed this and you're looking forward to the next episode, and I really hope you are, and you'll join me again tomorrow at 7, drop a like on the video, that'd be awesome. If you're new to the channel, if you've enjoyed this, then subscribe, because there's going to be plenty more to come like this. This is going to get ridiculous. I can feel it already. And also, if you like streaming, I also stream over on Twitch on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday, and I will join you guys very, very soon for some more of this absolute madness. Thank you so much for watching. Hold your gun, capybara. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.